Okay, right on with your reading. The first card you have, you passed, is the Eight of Swords. Yes. Um, yeah, this is really difficult. There's some kind of loss. There's a big loss here. I don't know if this is a permanent loss, but it does feel like that. I have to say, it feels like that to me. Now, whatever this is, yeah, it was really, really hard for you to get through, because this woman feels really trapped. She has all these swords around her, and, she's in mud. She's standing in mud. So, if she wanted to move forward, she'd have to slowly wade through this mud, very slow, very difficult, kind of wading through to get yourself through to the other side. Terrible loss here. So, if this is resonating and if you're still going through this loss and kind of wading through to the end, the pain is going to ease in time. It really is. The memory isn't going to go. The memory of this person or this thing, and I think it is a person, it's not going to leave you. And you don't want it to leave you. You don't want the memory of them to leave you. You want to keep the memory alive. Absolutely do. And in your heart, in your head and in your heart, you want to keep the memory alive. But the pain isn't going to be as raw as it is now. If you're still going through this, you are going to be able to cope a lot easier. It's just going to happen in time. I'm just picking up on this. I hope this makes sense. So this loss, I don't think it was a loss in love. It doesn't feel like a love connection to me. But you absolutely loved this person very deeply. Whatever this is, whoever this is, it's some kind of loss. And you're always going to remember this. So there's also, I hate that this is so negative, but this is what I'm seeing. There's also this feeling of a loss of someone else, someone who you thought you'd be able to lean on through this time, this really difficult time. It just feels to me as if someone just needed to be by themselves. They wanted to process things and they just couldn't be there for you. So, yeah, if this is about you, if you're still really upset with this person, of course you have a right to feel however you feel, that's fine. But I'm seeing, what I'm getting is it's fight or flight. It feels like fight or flight. So I think they just fled. They just wanted to flee from this. It was really upsetting. They just got away. They just went away by themselves. That's what I'm seeing. Yeah, if you've ever seen a cat that's been injured, they usually go off to a hiding spot to heal. They just go under houses or wherever they go. They like to hide to get better. I think that's what this person was doing. And I know you needed their support. I can feel that you're feeling like, I need this person's support and they're not here. That's kind of what I'm getting. It was a struggle for them as well. And I just feel as if I need to say that because someone needs to hear that. So if this is you, and you're wondering whether they just ran away or whether they were really, really struggling with this, yes, they were absolutely struggling with this. And that's why they ran away. That's what I'm seeing. Okay, so the next card you have, you pass the Five of Pentacles, yes. Oh, so I think this person's absence from you and the whole situation, it's like, how can I explain this? I'm just getting this feeling of the longer I'm away, the harder it is to come back. So that's how they were feeling. It's like the longer they stayed away, the harder it felt. It just felt a lot harder for them to come back again. So I think there might have been some other people around you at this time. I think they're helping you. You had some support around you. I'm seeing family members. And yeah, this is how this person was feeling, this person who left. So yeah, it was their idea to leave. It was their idea to go away. I can see that. But it feels to them as if you had this barrier around you. These other people were kind of forming a barrier around you, like a wall. It was like they were building a wall around you. That's how it felt to this person. And I think they felt that if they came back, there'd be this big barrier. Because I think they also felt that all these people, this family, were all talking about them as well, saying, oh, that horrible person who left and this and that and so terrible. And I actually think they were. I think there was some talk about them. And so that was like a barrier to them. It was like, oh, they're all talking about me. That makes it even worse. And the longer I stay away, the harder it is. And I know they're all talking about me. And if I walk in, I'm going to walk into drama, and it just makes me feel worse. So now I'm not making excuses for them, but they had a loss as well. They felt this loss very, very deeply, and then there was this barrier as well. So it just got harder for them as time went on. So again, I'm not making excuses for anyone, because from what I'm seeing here, it really felt like a double loss to you, this first loss and then this person who left. But this is just how they were feeling. So whatever they did or didn't do, it just wasn't easy for them. So again, I feel as if I'm picking up on that, so I have to tell you that, because someone doesn't understand. Again, I think that you might be feeling that, oh, I was at my worst, I felt really terrible, and this person ran away. But it wasn't exactly like that. That's just what I'm getting again. So, okay, so the last card you have, you pass the Hermit. Okay, so I think this person who ran away or left or whatever, it was a love connection. And they could have spoken to you. They absolutely could. You're right. They could have spoken to you. They could have said something. But, sometimes loss makes people behave in unexpected ways, strange ways. I've had someone close to me who experienced a really difficult loss, and they got really angry with everyone. So you just never know how someone's going to act when something like that happens. But the message I'm getting here is, it's fantastic to have people around you supporting you. I'm not saying don't have people around you, but there is a lot of talk here, and it is a bit negative. So now, again, I have to stress this, because I'm not making excuses for them. They absolutely could have supported you, and they should have, really. And they know that themselves, and they're feeling quite guilty about that themselves. So that's another thing that's keeping them away. But some of this negative talk, it feels very unnecessary, it feels quite draining, it feels quite low down, like low vibration. And a lot of people around you, I think, at this time, if you're still going through this, they're seeing your side, they're seeing the one side, not even your side, they're seeing a side that they're kind of making up in their heads, and they're talking all about this, and they can't see the other side, they're not open to seeing the other side. And, the feeling I'm getting here deep down is that you actually do miss this person. You're angry, you're upset, but I think you do miss them. Now, I'm not saying they're a wonderful person and you should jump into their arms and all of that, but if you can get some time to yourself, like this Hermit on this card, away from all this talk and everything else, I think your head will be a lot clearer, and you'll be able to see the situation objectively. And, if you do want them to come back deep down, if that's what you really, truly want, and you want them to work through all of this with you, and I think that's what they should do, I think they're probably more likely to come back and talk to you without this barrage of people and negative talk and everything else around you. So you do need to get some time by yourself. But it's just something to think about when you're ready, for when you're ready. Because if you're still going through the worst of this, the first thing you have to do is take care of yourself. But that's just something to think about, maybe for later on or for whenever you're ready, because you are going to have to get this time to yourself, and I think you are eventually going to have to talk to this person at some time. Okay, so the first card you have your presence, the King of Cups. Okay, so with this whole situation and all this kind of negative talk that's around you, it's very, very difficult. If you look at this king, he's sitting there. He's surrounded by all this water, so lots of emotions, lots of drama, lots of everything. And so that's you. I think this is you. And you're not contributing to the drama. You're just sitting there. You're sitting there. It's all happening around you. Now, it's not all bad either. There are some people who are trying to help you. I can see that. But I think you're going to be taking some breaks from all of this soon, which is what I was seeing in the Hermit card as well, getting away from this for a while. It actually feels a little bit like, oh, I need to come up for air, I'm drowning in all this talk. And again, none of this talk's coming from you. It's all happening around you. You haven't started this. You're not fueling any of this drama. It's just with some people that are around you, and they're kind of building this whole thing up. So Yeah, again, there are some helpful people here. I'm seeing that. But yeah, you are going to take some time out. You are going to be by yourself. Because I think also a lot of this talk's just holding you back. It's holding you back and making you think about the past and all of that. And it's just not helpful for you. I'm just seeing you thinking, well, I'm trying to move forward. I'm trying to do this. But if you keep on bringing this up, oh, they said this and they said that 2 weeks ago and they said that a year ago and whatever it is, what's the point? What's the point of dragging that all up again? I need to try to move forward. Holding me back and sitting back there is not helpful to anyone. So I think you are going to do that. You're going to get some time away from these people. There's also, okay, so I'm picking up on something else here. I've just seen this out of nowhere, actually. If you're spending time with relatives, certain relatives, I'm seeing a bit of a warning here. There's someone with a bit of a problem, actually. Yeah, it's an addiction problem. That's what I'm seeing. So whoever this is, they're a very, very high functioning addict. So you might not even know that they have this problem. I'm actually seeing drinking here, which is what's often in this card, but it doesn't have to be that. It can be other addictions, but yes, it's some kind of problem like that. Now, if this person's talking to you, and yeah, I keep on saying family, so it's probably a relative, and if they're trying to advise you and whatever, they're talking to you, and something feels a little bit off or a little bit strange, or your instincts are saying, oh, no, I don't feel like I want to be around this person, something's not right, that's probably why. And yeah, that's another reason why I'm seeing this need for you to get away from this, get some time to yourself away from all of this. Because, whatever this person has to say to you, I really don't think it's helpful to you. And also, they're not someone who you should be taking advice from. Their life is not in order. If they're an addict or even if they're high functioning, obviously they haven't got their life in order properly. So they're not the kind of person you want to take advice from. So keep your distance from this person. Absolutely do that. And also, just be careful if this person's trying to be too close to you and your instincts are kind of saying, oh no, I don't like this, I feel bad about this. They might, I'm not saying this is absolutely going to happen, but I'm getting this, so I have to tell you what I'm seeing. They might even try to get close to you. They might start to ask you for money as well, which is what happens with addicts quite a lot. So just watch out for that as well. I'm getting this warning. I'm getting this warning around whoever this is. So if you know who this is, yeah, keep away, keep your distance. All right, so the next card you have your presence, the Knight of Wands. Okay, so I think this is about this person who's gone away. This is about this love connection. And there's a loss. So you both went through this loss. You both went through this. That's what I'm seeing here. They're going through this loss right now. They're away from you. They're really struggling. You both lost someone or something. I keep on getting that now. So what this is showing me is that they're still not in control of their emotions. They're definitely feeling quite unstable inside themselves. And there are a lot of different reasons why they're doing that and why they're distant from you. One of them is obviously this barrier and everything I was talking about in the Five of Pentacles and the Hermit and all of that. The other is they're just so up and down in their emotions right now. Look at the horse on this card. It's jumping up and down. It's totally out of control. And yeah, I don't think they want you to see them like that. I don't think they want you to see them like that. And they're just not in control of things. They're just feeling terrible. Again, I'm not saying, oh, they're a fantastic person, you have to forgive them for everything, you have to jump into their arms and love them and say they're wonderful. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that. But there is some kind of, I don't know what, I don't want to say closure, but it's something, some kind of conversation, something has to happen between you. Because if this is all resonating with you, you both have this big loss in common. And I don't think anyone else has the same insights and the same experience of this actual loss. Only the two of you kind of understand this experience. That's what I'm getting. And that's what I'm seeing, that really, really clearly here. So I don't think they're going to be able to get over this properly. Not get over this, but I don't think they're going to be able to move forward properly. And you're not going to either until you actually get together and talk about this, because you both understand this very unique situation. Only the two of you understands this, and nobody else does. And some conclusion or something, some talk or something, it has to happen again at some time. They're absolutely not ready right now. I'm seeing that in this card. And I think you have some things to work through as well. But yeah, I think you are going to connect again in some way, and it's the absolute right thing for you to do. I think it has to happen. That's what I'm seeing now. Okay, so the last card you have, your presence, death. All right, so yeah. Now, okay, it's probably quite unlikely. It's probably quite unlikely that you'll get together as an actual couple again. Because I think too much has happened. It's too difficult. There was too much strain on you with this loss and everything else that surrounds that. Now, I'm not saying it'll never, ever happen. Anything can happen. It might happen in the future, but I'm saying it is very unlikely, because the death card's about big endings and new beginnings. So, yeah, so if you do talk to them, and I think you will, this is a big thing that I'm seeing that has to happen. Make sure you're both on your own, because all through this reading, I'm getting this talk and these outside influences and the drama and everything like that. It feels like there's a lot of interference around this connection. And you don't want that around you. You're going to have to talk by yourselves. And no one else understands this anyway, so there's no point in being around. And yeah, so this feels very fresh to me as well, and very new. So I think you're going to have these talks, and I think you're going to kind of have this fresh new understanding between you. You're going to see a different side, a new side of each other. And I think this is going to create a new kind of relationship between you. Very, very good, very positive. Yeah, the other thing is I'm just seeing this. I don't know if this is some kind of grief, this loss. It might be that as well, because this is the death card, and sometimes it can be quite literal. So yeah, it just feels like you're bonding through this grief or this loss or whatever this is. So you are going to bond through that, and out of that a totally new kind of connection is going to happen or be between you. And I think you are going to be quite close again after this in a totally new way. That's what I'm seeing. So, and I feel as if I just have to say this again. Make sure these conversations between you are private. You don't need any interference around this. It's between the two of you, nobody else, just the two of you. So I just want to keep on stressing that. It's very, very important. Okay, so the first card you have here features the Star. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful card. So, okay, so I'm seeing some creativity here. Beautiful. The King of Cups can also be about creativity, so you have that as well. So double creativity, so it's definitely that. I'm getting this feeling that I think something's been inside you. It's like a feeling. It's been inside of you. It's like an ambition. It's this feeling of, oh, I'm going to get there. I'm going to do this. I'm ambitious. I'm going to get there. No matter what happens, I can do this. But then on the flip side of that, there's also this feeling of, it feels a bit listless. It feels like I'm kind of stagnant. I don't know if I can do this. So I want to do this, but I just have this really stagnant feeling. I don't know. I just don't know if I can do this. So there's two different things competing there. So yeah, I hope this is going to make sense. I'll try and explain this. It looks quite difficult. So okay, so I'm getting this weighed down feeling. It's kind of like a mixture of boredom and restriction, if that makes sense. It's like you want to do this thing, but there's this kind of, it's the feeling. It's just the feeling that's stopping you. Nothing else is stopping you. Just this feeling that you've got. So, it's kind of like if when you're a child, and I don't know if you went through this, but just imagine it's Sunday afternoon, and it feels like the whole afternoon stretches out ahead of you. So you've got all this time. It feels a little bit, listless. It's like, oh yeah, I've got all this time in front of me. There's also this feeling of restriction as well. So it's like, yeah, I can do whatever I like, but I can't really, because I'm a child. I can't go wherever I like. And when you're a child, you can't. So it's kind of a bit like that. It's like, I know I can do this. I know it's ahead of me. I feel a little bit stagnant, but I also feel restricted. So that's kind of what I'm getting at. That's kind of what I'm picking up on. I don't know if that makes sense to you at all, but that's kind of what I'm getting. So it's like restlessness, a bit of stagnation as well. Now, it's definitely something creative. Yeah, I'm seeing water around this as well. I don't know why, but I'm seeing that. And I think what's needed is, to kind of, I think what's needed is you need to just get yourself out of a rut, because you're in a kind of a rut, in a kind of a routine. You need to get yourself out of that to get this fresh feeling around this. So, you might not have many people around you who understand this thing. So it might be where you are as well. It might be the area you're in. So if that makes any sense to you, it probably doesn't, because it's quite confusing. But if it does, try to do whatever you can to break this feeling. Do something new. Get around a new atmosphere. You actually don't have any restrictions around you. The only restrictions you have are coming from how you're feeling. It might help to get yourself into a different environment. I'm getting this big need for you to get out of where you are, because it feels as if you're not surrounded by like-minded people. You're in kind of an area where not many people do what you do, or it feels like that. So get yourself out, because when you're a child, you have no say in where you are. You can't go and drive off somewhere. You can't kind of walk down to somewhere else. Now you can. So you need to get yourself out of the atmosphere, get yourself out of this rut and go to a completely different place. And I think that might stop this stagnancy. Or something else, but just try to do whatever you can to break that really stagnant feeling that I'm getting. I hope that makes sense to someone. It's really hard for me to articulate that kind of feeling. Okay, so the next card you have for your future is the World. Yeah, fantastic. And this is following on from the Star card. So if you look at this big laurel wreath in this card, it looks a bit like a portal to me, somewhere where you can just walk in and magically be in another place. Now, you can't just magically click your fingers and be in another place, but you can in your feelings. And that's what's going to get you to this other place, how you're feeling. Everyone has this kind of a portal inside themselves. I know this sounds really silly, but, you just need to tap into those excited, determined feelings, positive feelings. And that's what's going to help you to move toward this ambition, this creative thing that you want. Now, what the other thing in this card is, you might have to travel to take steps toward this thing, to get yourself into the feeling, to move one step ahead and to get towards where you want. So, you might have to commute to somewhere. It might be a group where you meet other people. It might be some kind of studying that you need to do. Something that gets you out of where you are into a different environment, a different place, where you feel different and things look different and you have people around you who understand you. That's what you need.